Good evening, afternoon, and good morning in some places of the world. That is the time. Welcome back to Guna Matters, where your opinion it matters. Now, first of all, let's subscribe to Guna Matters. Hit the like and smash the bells for all your notifications. Now, tonight is a host of players. As you could see on this post, there's so many things, so many guys, so many whatnot. So on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, including YouTube, that's where you can get a hold of Guna Matters. If you want to get involved with Guna Matters, you can send an email to gunamatters@gmail.com, and that's where you can get a hold of me. So tonight I'm fired up. I'm on fire. I am very, very happy. And this is my panel: the enforcer and Jonathan Valencia Murillo. Is that how I pronounce it, Jonathan?
Yeah, Murillo.
Murillo. All right. Welcome, guys. Let's start with Jonathan. Give us a take on how you are, firstly, how the family is, and of course, last night's game. Then we can go forth to the next one.
Thank you, Gunnar. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy with what happened yesterday. Um, because the truth is that I was expecting the better for this game, but not yesterday because we had some troubles in the table. We were losing the match before starting the match. Club playing well his cards. I don't know if he did it with intention, I was expecting something not so good, but the game yesterday was really crazy, really crazy. I am really happy with these players. They are the present and they are the future, and I hope that they stay in Arsenal. Let's see the future, but in this moment they are playing really really crazy.
Very
Why?
crazy.
It's impressive.
Jonathan, if I could ask you just to move to the side that we can see the backdrop there with all the young players. There we go. We've got Ramsdale, you've got Emil Smith Rowe, you've got Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and of course, you've got Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah.
That is a great a backdrop there, Jonathan. Um, and I like the players. One of those players are my favorite, of course. And but yeah, there's your take on last night.
Good evening. Great to be here. Great to be on with you guys. Last night, you know what? We played with passion, considering we were 10 men for 70 odd minutes. I think we showed our resilience compared to when we played Forest. I mean, Forest was a nightmare, but we did what Arsenal can do with limited squad, really. And we, if anything, if we get players in for the next leg, I think we've got a good chance. Um, I mean, Ben White was outstanding, and I love Ramsdale in goal. He just brings something else to the back four. He commands that back four brilliantly, and I just think we've got some outstanding players. And yes, we've got some players that you could all say yes they need to go, and yes they do need to go. Um, I would just like to say though, in Jonathan's backdrop, I would add one more player, and that is Tommy Asu,
Yep.
because outstanding. It's a shame he's injured.
Yeah,
Outstanding player, absolutely outstanding. Um, Lakonga is going to be a good player in the future. He played better last night. He's still making the odd mistake, but you've got to remember he's young. But going on that, I mean, end of the day, Liverpool are meant to be one of the strongest teams in the league at the moment. They should have absolutely wiped the floor with us last night, really. But we just
yeah.
showed that we can dig in our heels and do our best. So there you go.
All right, all right.
Unfortunately,
Sorry, John. What you were
we
saying?
need we need to add Tommy. we need to add Kearney,
Mm.
and we need to add Blahovic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's sorry, go for it.
no, even I don't know if that is a hype. The truth is that I don't have hopes in this moment. It's just joking.
If we do
Yeah.
that, though, Jonathan, you'll have to get a bigger television.
Yeah. Listen, I see Altal is joining us there, so let us just enter in. Good
Hey
evening.
guys, how are you? Nice to see
How's
you
it?
all.
Hello,
Hey,
Tel.
good
Nice to
morning.
see you.
Welcome,
Nice to see you.
Terry.
Well, it was a bit of a surprise last night, wasn't it?
It was, eh?
I wonder if anybody had any money on that as a result, eh?
Hey, I got it.
You had
Hold
it.
on. Listen this. I don't like the bets because I have a bad look, always. So when I want that Arsenal win a game, I always make a bet against Arsenal.
So,
Yesterday
sorry,
I
sorry,
made a
sorry,
Yeah.
bet of $6.
sorry, guys.
$6.
I don't know, Terry.
Mm.
Since you came in, there's a echo. I'm not sure if anything from your side is there because I'm getting echo.
I'm all right at this end. What about the other lads? Are they getting an echo?
I'm getting an echo, mate. You might have to turn your volume down a bit, Tel.
All right, hang on a second.
All right.
Can you still hear me, lads?
That's better.
Yeah.
Is that better?
The
I can
echo
do
is-
Elvis if you want to sing me I'll sing you a couple of Elvis songs with all the echo on.
the
There is
echo
still an echo.
is still
Oh.
there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yes, if
It's
you
still
have
an
some
echo.
earphones.
How's that?
It's more when we talk to you, Tel, not you talking to us.
Yeah, it's
Right.
more when we talk. Yeah. All right. All right. Altal, I'm gonna just mute you quickly. I don't know if you can just sort of tweak your volume from your side.
If I turn it any lower, I'll have to be lip reading you, lads.
Have you, Tel, have you got any headphones, mate?
No, mate, no.
Oh, okay, no bother.
All right. That's not a problem.
Oh, hang
We
on,
can-
hang on a minute. I've got a little ear thing that only works in one ear. Let me see if this will do the job. Hang on.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
we're going
good.
old school. We're going old school.
All right. While we wait for Altal,
How's that?
yeah, let us just quickly recap on the. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. On the Xhaka incident. Yeah, what is your take on that red card thing?
I didn't finish my history. Just give me 1 minute. I did a bet against Arsenal yesterday, $6. And I lost the money because it was a lot. So even
You lost the money.
but I don't care. I lost that money just because the luck. And I always do a bet against Arsenal. Arsenal always win or draw. I lost the
Okay.
money at the end.
Yes, I think there's something wrong there. Let me just see if I can edit it from my side. Is that better?
No, still
No,
echoing.
Yeah.
and a small one.
It's not as
Sounds
bad
all right.
as it's still.
Yeah, that should be okay. That better?
You have echo.
You have echo, Glenn.
I can hear everybody echo except for Altal.
I think it's I think it's the good player.
Do you want me to swap over to my phone, see if that helps?
No, it's not going to be that. But nonetheless, yeah. Let's just get to the next segment quickly. I'll tweak it from this side. Yeah, let us talk about this guy's been suspended again. Eltal, we're gonna give you the floor for that.
Thank you. Well, yeah, on our WhatsApp group, I did put. It looks like Xhaka might not be fit to play about 3 days before the game, and then of course when he was fit to play, I went, "Oh no, Xhaka's playing." And then after he was a disaster, I put, "Xhaka does what Xhaka does. This is what the man does. He sprays the ball about beautifully, but he can't run, he can't turn, and he can't tackle. And he hasn't got the wisdom to say, if I go and foul this guy, if I foul him, I'm going to be off, and my teammates are going to be trying to play the rest of the match with only 10 of them, with one man down." Now, he's had this happen to himself long enough to have worked that out. And it will give you an idea of the temperament of the man, that he can't even look himself in the mirror at some point and say, "You've got to change your attitude." He's been like this his whole career. And I think I might have mentioned that my son had a picture taken with him
Yes.
around about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And actually, my son was only about a year younger than him. So they were, Michael was about 25, Xhaka 26, something like that. And Shaka's, it's a lovely photo, but Shaka's face said, "I'm totally bored. I don't want to be here, and I'm not interested in the guy standing next to me." And that's awful. That's listen, we pay this man's wages.
Yeah.
And the least he can do is put on a smile. I know they have it all the time, but come on, you're a celebrity. You're a top sportsman. You're famous in Switzerland and halfway up and down the Holloway Road. For crying out loud, put on a smile. But all this fits in with him giving two fingers salute to the crowd, throwing the armband down. He's too cocky. He fancies himself too much. And as a sportsman, he's got a massive Achilles heel. And his Achilles heel is he gets a rush of the blood to his head. He sees the sort of red mist, and he blows it apart. He was never going to catch up Jota. I do hope Arteta and his mates have had a quick look at where it all went wrong, because it shouldn't have been him left to try and stop Jota. One other thing I'd like to say, and I know anybody who's an aficionado of tactics will have noticed that for the last 3 or 4 matches, Arteta has played him as an advanced midfielder. And then he's dynamite. As long as you're not expecting him to go and tackle back and charge 30 or 40 yards on a foot race with an attacker, then he's fine. He's fine as long as you don't put him in a situation where he has to tackle. And Arteta had realised that, and what he was doing was, instead of him having a double pivot with him and Thomas Partey, they were letting Partey sit back a bit as what used to be called a number 4 defensive midfielder, and they were skewing it slightly asymmetrically so that Xhaka was always much more advanced and playing to his strengths. But my final thing on this, my overwhelming feeling is he should have gone to Roma when Roma tried to buy him in the summer. I really have had enough of him. He's only half a player, albeit a very, very, very good player. But he's only half a player. And one last thing, anybody who's old enough to remember the Champions League final, I always said about Lehmann all the time, and I liked him as a goalkeeper, but he pushed people all the time. If you went near him as an opposition player, he was pushing you and, giving you all kinds of jip, which refs kind of turned a blind eye to. And I always said, if he keeps doing that, he'll save it up for a really big game. And what did he do? He blew our Champions League. He blew it. If they'd have scored that goal where he took the Barcelona attacker out, if he'd have just held back and let them score, Sol Campbell had already equalised, and we got to within about 15 minutes from the end, and we basically ran out of legs. So we would be I suspect we would be, I can't prove it, European champions that season if it wasn't for Lehman.
For
And we've got a modern day Lehman in Shaka. He let this team down. Please, Arsenal, sell him, kick him out. If you want to start up a fund me thing, I will contribute to his airfare. No, no problem. Just
Oh, mate,
get him out.
we could have a whistle round, so. We could have a
to,
Exactly,
be- to be
exactly.
to be fair, to be fair on Xhaka, Jonathan, don't you think it is that Xhaka was set up for failure by his teammates? I'm not saying it was done. Um, um, they maybe thought it through, but at the moment of play, he shouldn't have been in that position. It was supposed to be Gabriel and it was supposed to be Tierney in that position. So surely, if they were in their position, that shouldn't have happened.
Just let me be more general, not just specific in this match. It happened once and once and once, and always there is the fall of the central back. There is the fall of the, I don't know, Tierney. That is not a problem. The problem is happening and it's happening. There is a pattern, There is a pattern, and I think there is. I just want to say something. I believe in the football, in the mystic of the football. I believe on that because in the football there are, in the sports in generally, but in football there are 11 people versus 11 people, and these people are around of these people there are 40,000 or 60,000 people. And in the mystic of the football, Chaka failed to Arsenal Football Club in the first time when he threw out the armband, captain. When he said the words against the fans uh, some years ago with Unai Emery. I think Arsenal Football Club, the energy of Arsenal Football Club is not going in the correct way for Chaka. He tried. He tried. He is a good player. He did a lot of passes and he tried to push the team and he tried to lift the team once and once, but always happening the same: a red card, a bad foul, something that threw up the match and happened once and once. I think the energy is not with him. The football mystical of Arsenal Football Club is not with him. Sorry for saying these kind of things, but I believe of it because I have played football. And when the crowd is telling you, hey, do it, you get better energy. But when something bad, if there is something bad with the fans, everything is going to the trash. So I think it's not the energy correct with Chaka. Even he tried, even he's a good player, but it's not with Arsenal. I think Roma will be a good place for him. Eh, eh, but no Arsenal. It's just mystical for me. For
Lenny,
me,
days before we're gonna come to you quickly, I just have a comment here from Warren van Schoor. Warren is one of the guests that's been on the show before. Wishing you guys a great year ahead. Keep up the great work, Glenwyn. God bless. Thank you, Warren. And up the Gunners. Yeah, no, that's also a big Gunners fan. Lenny, not Lenny, sorry, Des. What is your take on on the red card of last night? Because I mean, you have something controversial to say, as you mentioned.
Well, no, this isn't my controversial thing. It's when we talk about the transfers, it's going to be my controversial thing. Um, but I want to say this: Tell is absolutely right. By the way, Tell, Sam sends her love. She hopes you're okay. And also, I just want to say one thing: Arsenal made a mistake. Okay, where we made the mistake was we let Ainsley Maitland-Niles go. Yeah, too early. We did Roma a massive favour, right? Yeah, they don't care that they haven't done us one. Yeah, we needed him for Nottingham Forest, and we would have needed him last night as well. Okay, I totally agree with Tell, and I know you guys agree as well. Xhaka is the definition of a leopard will not change his spots. Yeah, You cannot change that lad at all. And the thing is, he must have blackmail or something on Arteta because he 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 gets injured, right? He gets injured, comes back from injury, walks straight back in the team. Yeah,
Yeah.
shouldn't happen, right? Shouldn't happen. His temperament is totally wrong for the Arsenal structure, and they say he's part of the leadership circle or whatever, the leadership party, whatever. No, his temperament is totally wrong for Arsenal. Yeah, it doesn't suit the way we play. It doesn't suit the structure. He doesn't even suit our midfield now. Okay, yeah, he can put in one good ball per game. Wow, I'll give him a round of applause for that. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, we should have let him go last transfer window. He should have gone last transfer window to Roma. I don't know what happened there. I would have even taken to be honest, and I know I'm sounding a bit, but I would have taken less money for him. I really would have, just to get rid of him. And how was he captain last night? What has he done to get the captaincy?
No,
What,
wasn't Lacazette captain? No,
no.
wasn't Lacazette captain?
No. He got the captaincy, didn't he? No, he got
Oh,
the
okay.
captaincy. Didn't he give it to Lacazette when he went off?
Oh,
I
okay.
could be wrong. All right, I could be wrong. Take that back. But even if he was or he wasn't given the captaincy, right? How was he ever a captain? Because he's too volatile. Absolutely too volatile. He's what I would call a firework footballer, where you light the fuse, you sit back and you watch what happens, and you can't always guarantee the results, and that's why he gets sent off. Yeah, like Tell said, Tell's absolutely right. He knew he wasn't going to catch Jota. Okay, he shouldn't have been in that place in the first place. But there you go. He's an absolute waste of space. And if he's not gone in this window, I want him gone in the summer. Enough said.
So, I'll tell the performance of the young lads last night. Wow. I'll tell the performance of the young lads last night. Wow.
It was the performance of the young boys. Just a quick thing before I go on to that. It's just come in that Arsenal have applied to the Premier League for a postponement of the match against Tottenham on Sunday. It's literally just come in the last minute. Apparently, the rules are that you have to have 14 players available. That's 13 outfield players and a goalkeeper. And Arsenal have only 12 players. So that's, if you're just tuning into this now, people, that's literally hot off the press. No, in terms of the young lads, I mean, I felt for Saka, and I'm so worried about losing him because he's run himself into the ground. As Arteta said, he's played, they count it by sort of minutes. He's played a phenomenal amount of minutes. He was so frustrated. Martinelli, just a crazy amount of minutes, that guy, and the way he runs at full pelt. But the man I thought was most fantastic for me was Lacazette. Lacazette is the go-to guy for all the young players. They all rave about him. He looks after them. He asks them, you know, in training, is everything all right? He's their kind of mentor. You know, he's getting them ready as Arsenal players to do their absolute best. I love Laka. I think he's a top player. And even in that unfamiliar midfield role they seem to set up for him until, of course, our friend Xhaka went off, he still played well. And we had our two young lads, you know, Martinelli and Saka. I mean, are they both 19? Something like that. You know, that they would have only just left school if they went on to do their A levels. You know, it's crazy. And these guys are teaching, that they are shaming up some of our senior professionals who are on big money. These guys are running their socks off for Arsenal, and I'm delighted. If I was Arteta, I know you're not allowed to call them out in a conference. So when Arteta's being questioned, he always keeps it general. But I would be taking them in the dressing room and hugging them and saying, lads, you boys did it. You have showing the older players what to do. And Tierney is still young. Was he about 24? Ben White is only 23. You know, the other centre back is only about 24. You know, these guys, and the goalkeeper's 23. That's like a child. He's still in his goalkeeping infancy. These guys we should be very, very proud of. And last thing, I would say that this is how you forge great team spirit. These guys now know that if they give it that amount of oomph and passion and drive and hard work, they can face up Man City, they can face up Liverpool. They need fear nobody.
True. Jonathan? Yes, Jonathan? There was a car passing by with loud music, and my mic picked it up. I'm not sure how my mic picked that up. I'm going to try something quickly. How's my sound now? Is the sound better?
Sounds like you're in a swimming bath somewhere. No, it sounds like you're in a swimming bath.
Okay, so that is... Okay, so that is... Is that better?
Or you could be in a cathedral somewhere. No, sounds like you're in a cathedral.
Alright, there's something wrong. Sorry, Jonathan, you were saying? Sorry, Jonathan, you were saying?
Echo. Maybe if you put mute, no, it's echo. Maybe if you put mute.
And now? Is it better now? Is it better now? No, not better. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can't?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I was saying...
Better. But now we don't hear you.
Now you hear me?
Yes.
All right, sorry. The young guys, in your opinion, that's behind you, what can they bring to our future? You've been saying earlier on that's our present and they are our future. What can they bring to us? Altal just mentioned something now, that they can fight against the big guns. What is your take on where we're going with these young boys? I mean, obviously Arteta is building a squad and he's doing a pretty good job about it.
I don't like the hope, because it's that Arsenal hope that kills you always. But I think so. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, White, they are Tierney. They are so young and they can do a lot of good things now in the present. But think of them in 1 year. It will be really, really crazy. I'm really happy, but I don't want that Arsenal hope. But in this moment, in the present, they are able to compete with Manchester City and with Liverpool. Obviously, more focus, more concentrated, with more concentration, because something happened and we lost the game, as with City. But I think they are starting to believe what they are, because they are too good, and they are starting to believe that. We need to focus on motivate. Arteta needs to focus in motivate them.
Which brings me to my next question, in terms of all these players that are linked with Arsenal. I mean, we've got a host of players. These are not all of them, but there's so many players been linked with Arsenal only this month. And Altal, we are desperate for midfielders. We are so desperate for a midfielder that can at this point help Lokonga.
Yeah, it's pretty sure we're going to get Arthur Melo, who's a Brazilian currently playing for Juve. That looks a dot on the cards now. So and apparently he's very good at dribbling. He's a bit of a Santi Cazorla. Maybe not as good as in defending as all the rest of his skills, but he's got great balance. He's a kind of a Santi. He's 5'7", so he's quite a short guy, but he's definitely almost certainly coming. Juve are just waiting to sign a replacement. Tielemans, of course, is a good player, plays for Leicester. And the guy that you had there as well, who I've looked up a lot about, is Danilo. And he plays for one of the Brazilian teams. And of course, Edu knows the Brazilian football. He's the guy with the sort of dyed hair.
The green. Yeah,
yeah,
the green,
and the green top. Is it Palmeiras he plays for out
Palmeiras,
there? Yeah. And he's good. He's a defensive midfielder. He's young. He's only about 19 or 20. But he fits exactly what Arteta and Edu want. They want these young boys so that they can get them in and mould them. So I think Palmeiras are trying to avoid letting us have him before the end of the South American season. So, but I would be happy with all the players I've looked through to have Arthur, who's almost certainly coming, Arthur Melo, and he'll come on a loan with a possibility of buying him. He wants £80,000 a week. We kind of say those figures as though they're nothing. I wouldn't mind that £80,000 a year. And Danilo looks good. I do worry that we need to think about something about how we sort this sort of defensive midfield out. And just a quick one that people might have noticed. Did you notice how well Chambers played when he was asked to play right back, and this wonderful back five that we had? Now, Chambers was played when he went to Fulham about 2 years ago. They employed him as a CDM, central defensive midfielder, and he apparently played absolutely brilliantly. Got their man of the season. So you've got options there. You've got Ben White, who can play as a CDM, and maybe next season when we get Saliba back, hopefully, then we'll have a few more options. I know Arteta doesn't really like a straight CDM, but you know we've got a lot going for us. But those two players I've just mentioned, out of all the ones we're looking at, I doubt if Tielemans will come because Leicester will ask for a king's ransom. But I think Arthur, the guy in the Juve stripes, will come, and if Danilo comes as well, that would suit me. I think we'd have some cracking players there. And there is a player that, well, I'm trying to think of his name. I think he might be in there. He plays for Rangers, and he used to play for us, and he's 26 now. I'm trying to think of his name. And Arsenal are looking at him. He played for our youth team, and then we kind of let him go. And so he even might be coming in, because quite often, I think before Mertesacker took over the sort of youth setup, we tended to let players like Serge Gnabry and other players leave that we shouldn't have let leave, and then we kept players who weren't good enough. So it's very hard to spot in young players. It's very hard to extrapolate forward. And how's that 14, 15, 16-year-old going to be when they're 19 or 20? And I think, if I can quote Wenger now, I think he said the final stage in a player's development comes around about the age of 20, when they've got their skill pack sorted out. They're developing into a man. But the question then is, do they have the right mental attitude? Because what creates great players is that ability that we see with all the great players, Messi, Ronaldo. They hate being beaten. They're not in it for the money. They're already very rich men, but they want to go out there and they want to beat whoever's in front of them. And if you want a championship winning team and a Euro Cup winning team, that's the kind of players, because you'll get 20% more out of a player that has passion and drive. We saw that with Tony Adams. You know, he had a limited skill set, but the rest of it was more than compensated by his never say die attitude.
Sure. These players, these players on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the guy on the far left in the purple, I'm over it.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Vlahovic? I'm
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
that guy.
Right.
What do you think is the story there?
Well, before I go on to Dusan, can I give you my bit of controversy?
Sure.
Yeah. I do not like the January transfer window. I think it's an absolute waste of time because it's more of look at what you could have had. I would rather have a longer transfer window in the summer, okay, and no transfer window in January. And the reason that one of the main reasons I want a transfer window in January is no one really wants to sell their players. And if you notice, most players come out of contract in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's the better time to buy players. Now, going to the question you asked me, Dusan, flipping heck. Arsenal do this every transfer window. I'm sure you guys will agree, or you may not, I don't know. But we do not do business quick enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dusan, there's a lot of problems with Dusan. Number one, he wants to go to Juventus or AC Milan. Number two, he's very expensive, and we'd have to throw in Torreira as well. Remember, as part of as the sweetener. Okay.
Yeah.
And number three, and this is what's ruining the game: agents. Get this, guys. To buy Dusan, the agents want 10% of the asking price. Okay. And even if he renews his contract at Fiorentina, they want 10% of that asking price. Well, if he's, let's just say, pick a number out of the air, he's going for 75 million. You know, that's ridiculous money for an agent.
Of money for an agent. Yeah.
And it's the agents that are killing the game, and it's also agents that are stopping players going to teams that actually want to buy them. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about just quickly, I hate the term wonder kid. Okay. I tell you why, and I'll be totally honest with you, and Tel might agree with me because he works with kids, he plays the Irish game with kids, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, they can be talented, but why call them wonder kids? Because they've got so much hype to live up to then, okay? And there's no guarantee that they will. We've just got this lad from West Brom, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's been classed as a wonder kid. Or Odegaard, if you want, was classed as a wonder kid, yeah? But you don't always live up to the hype, yeah? I'll tell you who the wonder kids in our team at the moment are, right? And it's the same. It's the Trinity. I'd say four, really, right? There's Saka, in no particular order, Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, and you've got to say Ramsdale. You've got to, because he has flipped us round.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, going on those guys that you've got there, right? On the picture that you showed, like Tel always says, if you watch videos on this guy, all that does is hype them up. On these guys, all that does is hype them up, right? Not good. I would give up on Dusan, and even though he's injured, I know he's injured, all right, so that's not so good. I would have gone for Isaac. Yeah? Sanchez wants to come to Arsenal. Go get him. Wijnaldum wants to come to Arsenal. Go get him. He's got the experience. Now, I'm not saying that Arteta and Edu are doing a bad job. What I'm saying is they're doing it too slowly. The thing is, we knew that AFCON was coming. We've done nothing about it, really. Yeah? It's like what I said about before, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We let him go. We should have said to Roma, you can have him at the end of the month. Because he was going to go anyway, wasn't he? But you can have him at the end of the month. And this is what makes Arsenal look bad, because it doesn't look like we can do business. Even though the people that we brought in this season, we weren't talking like this last year, were we? Top four, possible top four. You're having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? So they can bring the players in. I just think they do it too slowly.
Yeah. Jonathan, in the terms of business, obviously we spoke about it off air a little bit. Your take on the business that Arsenal is doing, and Des now alluded to it, that we are doing the business too slow. I understand with the fact of Ainsley Maitland-Niles needed to go so soon because we might have missed out on certain things that the deal is built upon. What is your knowledge in business in terms of where Arsenal is going in the future with what it tries to do with the team?
Okay. I think Arsenal is getting better. I think it's very conservative in that kind of matter in business, because what I think internally, I don't know because I'm not there in the board, but what I think internally, the first thing that they have as a statement in order to do a business is the economical matter, is the money, and it was something that Wenger told us. Wenger always says about that there is a bubble. We are paying a lot. You cannot give you need to do a fair play in order to a fair business. In order to do fair business, so I think it's something very conservative and part of the strategy of Arsenal. And in this moment, as the times are going faster, the virtuality and everything is moving very faster, we are being very slowly, very slowly. I agree with this, but I think that things are getting better. And if we can get a good midfielder as I don't know, until the end of the season as Artur Melo, while we get a good proven midfielder as Tielemans, and if we can get a top class striker, and I don't think so it will happen in January, but if we can get a replacement for Aubameyang, I'm sorry Alba, I love you, but the things are not going well in the last years. If we can get a replacement for the top players, it's enough for us. It's enough because Balogun is going to Bordeaux in order to prove himself. Because we are getting people from, I remember from West Bromwich, we get a midfielder from West Bromwich, a young player. Yes, if we can prove Charlie Patiño, if we can prove Omari Hutchinson, we have some young stars. So if we can get a midfielder as Artur Melo, while we get Tielemans or we get Bruno Guimaraes, I think we will be doing the correct thing. I think Edu and Arteta has their mistakes, like William, but they are doing some really good things with Tommy Yasu, with Aaron Ramsey. They are doing good business with Odegaard, for example. So they are trying to comply with the board requirement that is just don't pay a lot of money, but try to bring to the team a good players with the efficiency, less money, more players. They are doing the things. I think we need more support from Kroenke. I think we need more money from the owners. But for me, it's good. We are going to the right way at this moment. I hope to have a midfielder at the end of January and a top class striker.
We need that midfielder now.
Yes,
but there again, sorry guys, there again, right? You've said it there, Glenwyn, right? We need a midfielder. We need a right back. Do we really need a striker yet? Because we've got Martinelli, we've got Lacazette. Do we need a striker? Possibly we do, yeah. But I think the main areas are Tomiyasu needs some backup and the midfield. And it winds me up because Dusan every day. There's something about Dusan. Yeah, I would love to see Tielemans at Arsenal, but you're not going to, like Terry said, you're not going to get him off Leicester at the moment. You're going to have to wait till he's nearly out of contract. Okay. Who else was there that I like the look of? Say again.
Bruno
Yeah,
Guimaraes,
I like the look of him, but as me and Jonathan and Glenn were talking about it before, just because you're a good player in another league doesn't mean you're going to walk straight into the Premiership and boom, there you go. You know, and who's to say that even if we did go and pay 75 million for Dusan, let's say we did get the deal done, is he going to walk straight into the Premiership and do it? You don't know. It's risks, isn't it? And again, he's young. He's what, 21? Is he? Is that right?
Yeah, 21.
21 years old. A lot of pressure on a kid. I mean, yeah, he can score. We know he can score. He's a big lump of a lad. But Premiership is a totally different ball game.
Yes. Tell me quickly. Yeah.
I
Sorry,
think that
go
is
for it.
very important. What is happening or what will happen with Aubameyang? I think what Arteta and Edu wants is to cover the top striker, because whatever you want or you say about Aubameyang, it's a top striker. It's our principal striker. It's our main player. So they need to cover that. Not only because we need it, because we need a 9. It's also because we need to put over the table in front of the other teams. Hey, we have enough money. We have enough muscle to get the promise. To get, I hope Haaland, but Erling Haaland is not coming, obviously. But maybe the second one or the third one behind Mbappe and Haaland is Dusan Vlahovic. So I think they want that. They want that like punch in the face of like when Partey, the Partey case. Hey, you don't want to sell him, take the money and that's it. It's mine.
Yeah.
I think they want that. I think.
I'll tell. In terms of the North London derby, that is obviously been requested to be postponed. With all these are only a few of the people that we know of, injury and COVID cases, and how crucial is these for both teams. I mean, Tottenham has got 4 players out. We've got 3 of our best players out. Do you think that we can get this thing postponed?
I think so, because we obviously qualify for the sort of rules, and so it does look to me as though if we've only got less than the sort of minimum 13 outfield players plus a goalkeeper, if we can prove we have less, and it's very straightforward to prove it, you've got your COVID tests, which are overseen by the club's medical people. And you've got your injuries, which again you've got doctors doing that. So if you can't trust a doctor, I don't know who you can't trust. So although with Klopp, he seemed to get 41 false positives out of those tests. I don't know how that happened. I'm very suspicious about that one.
Someone's been tampering with the urine samples.
Yeah. But no, I think we've got a very good chance. And somebody was just saying that it would be lovely if we could get it postponed, because we haven't got the FA Cup to sort of worry about now. And whereas Tottenham will have a massive pile up of fixtures. Isn't that sad? Oh!
Anything to annoy the Spuds.
True, eh? So this is the guys that I've picked out to that has got obviously injured and COVID-19 cases, and it's guys like we've been mentioning all along that makes a difference in both teams, and it'd be fair to our team, especially our team, to have this game postponed for one particular reason, is that we are on 5th place now, and if we can have a full squad to play Tottenham, it obviously gives us a benefit to go again to 4th. And Jonathan, with the squad that we have now, that seems very unlikely.
We are losing 2 players that are similar. Emilio Smith-Rowe and Odegaard. That is difficult for us because if one of them are not in the team, we can play with the other one. But we are losing 2, and we are losing Tomiyasu. As I mentioned, then further, we don't have a right back enough to cover his position. So we are losing two positions, very very important. I think is not so good. But what happened with Liverpool and with Klopp playing his cards, because I know that he played the cards. I know it's impossible that that was not created for him. What happened with Liverpool show us that maybe in this moment we can win some games from the table. I don't like that kind of thing. I prefer to win the game with the players that you have, and that's it.
Yes.
But if we don't have the 13 players, that is not possible to play. So I think the game will be postponed. Unfortunately,
And also,
I
there's
wanted to watch.
being having so much games to play. I mean, even those teams that were postponed before a week or so ago, like Tottenham, Burnley has 3 games or 4 games in hand. United has a game in hand. Now we have a game in hand. If this is obviously going to be, and there's not enough time for all these games to be played, especially now with World Cup on also coming this year. You need to finish the Champions League and the European football. You need to finish the cup games. There's so much football to be played. Is this a blessing in disguise for us?
Dichotomy.
Sorry.
There's a dichotomy going on here, I think, which is football a sport or an entertainment? Because if it's a sport, you do not over stress physically or mentally your players by playing them too often. I suspect it's no longer a sport. I suspect it's an entertainment, which is why we've got the African Cup of Nations slap bang in the middle of a regular season in Europe. So you've because it's all entertainment, and obviously they get big crowds out there in different stadia in Africa. So it's that side of it is really an entertainment because people want to earn money. And in fact, are South Africa in it? I haven't seen them yet. Are they? I'm going to ask
No,
you
they're
there.
not in. They're not in the Africa Cup of Nations.
Why is that?
We didn't qualify.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that. What's going on there, lads? That's because they haven't seen you play, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Glenman, why didn't you put your name forward?
Yeah, I wasn't a regular at my club though.
Do you know, without being funny, you'd think that South Africa would have a good team because they've got a colonial past. I'm sure soccer is strong there, and you've got you've got lots of places in Durban and Joburg and Cape Town. That's an interesting one that they haven't.
Look, the problem you've got, Tel. The problem you've got is the AFCON is not respected as a cup.
Yeah.
It's genuinely not respected. It doesn't get the respect that other cups get in the world. Do you know what I mean? Right. To answer the question you asked, Glenwyn, about is this a good thing for us? Right. 2 things come to mind. Well, one thing, but we are having to, because we're so thin, we are having to recall Aziz. Okay, That is not a bad thing because Portsmouth were not using him like they said they were going to use him. He hasn't had the minutes there, so call him back. But my question is, if you can call back Aziz, why can you not call back Saliba? Yeah, because I tell you, we could do with Saliba right now. We really could.
I think the answer to that is that Aziz had a slightly different contract to Saliba, and I think his is a guaranteed full season, whereas as Aziz, because there is a guy whose job it is to sort of draw up these contracts and then to see and to have an overview of how well the players are doing, and if in the case of some of the very young lads like Aziz, if they're not being played enough, then they pull them back. Whereas, for instance, when Emile Smith Rowe went to Huddersfield, they actually were very good. They did play him a lot, and obviously it improved his sort of game a lot. But yeah, it does, from the outside it looks odd that of all players we need, wouldn't Saliba be a wonderful player to have back? I think we'll have him back next season, and
we are being told that he's coming home. We are being told that. But my fear is we've had the guy for 3 years and he hasn't played for us. So, you know, is he going to come home to be sent back out again? I don't. Well, I hope not. But it is a possibility, you know. But I hope he isn't.
Here he's tearing up trees in France, whatever the French is for trees. He's tearing them up. And
I believe it's Le Tree. Le Tree.
L'arbre or something. Yeah. Baum in German.
Yeah. All right. Just to get to a point of the North London derby that we can sort of just kill and park it. The North London derby is obviously one of the biggest games in the Arsenal life. And of course, we would want to win at home and away. So we've won it at home. Now we are going to play away. So hopefully, Jonathan, we will have sufficient strength when that game plays. Partey and what's the name will be back. And of course, we will have new additions to the team. That will be interesting to see when that game's going to be played, and also around other games. How do you think, depending on when we're playing that game, how do you think it will affect our squad if we don't get the sufficient additions this month?
I think we have our players on fire. That's it. We have our young players on fire. Like I said, on fire. We need to play more games, the more games that we can in this moment, because, you know, as I say, I believe in the mystical, in the football, and in this moment we are in a momentum. For me, it's called momentum. We need to take that momentum. The players are believing in themselves. The things are not happening well because the City match was terrible, not because the players, because another things. But we need to get that momentum, and we need to play most of matches that we can. I know Martinelli will run the entire match. Saka will run the entire match. Ramsdale is very focused. Gabriel White, and like I said, is leading. I just one thing. I think Lacazette was in the Aubameyang shadow, because always that you watch a match in the past where Lacazette played, you always say, "Oh, Lacazette is trying, he's doing good, well. Maybe he's not making some goals, but I think he used to be in Aubameyang shadow, and now that everything is happening with Aubameyang, Lacazette is showing why Emily Smith-Rowe says one time, some time ago says, Lacazette is the player who gets the better of me. So we need to get this momentum and play most matches that we can. We need to play most matches, but it doesn't depend on me, on Arteta, on FA. It depends on COVID and everything that is happening in this moment.
Okay, just for some miracle, if we obviously get one or two players fit before tomorrow, that we can play on Sunday, what would your prediction have been, Altal?
Oh, I would have thought that if we can get a half decent team out there, we have a good chance of getting a draw. I think we've certainly proved our back line are good enough to hold off Son and Harry Kane and so on. So I would have thought a draw was probably the most likely result. But apparently I've just looked it up, and the Arsenal have done a request, put it in just in the last 10 minutes, but the decision will not be made by the FA until tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
so
that's what I'm saying.
It's funny how they were so quick to allow Klopp's team to postpone their match against us, but they're going to have to think about this overnight. It's we're probably going to get a woman called Sue Gray check it. You know, this one who's checking it. The prime minister is a bit of a lush, having parties all the time. I don't know if that story's hit the South African newspapers.
Yeah. As like they said in our little group the other day, is that Arsenal doesn't have somebody higher up in the EFL because Liverpool's former CEO is sitting up there, Rick Perry, I think it is. So I think that is the reason why he got it so quickly done. Excuse all the Liverpool, and I'm not really sorry. Sorry, Liverpool, that is not for for your ears, but it is true that there's a bloke, Rick Perry, that's up there. So I think by tomorrow, hopefully, if we have nobody come up being fit to play, that we will have this game postponed, because it is in our interest not to play the Sunday. I'm sure. What do you say, Des?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, end of the day, if you can't put out a full squad, you have to pull out. And Liverpool didn't seem to have a problem with that at all. And also, Alistair, who is in the group, said that he didn't want Liverpool to put out a team of under-23s. Well, in all fairness, Arsenal don't want to play a team of under-23s. We want to play the real team, and we want to give our best. For the fans and for themselves. I think on Sunday as well, I mean, you've got Son missing, so that would have been an advantage. We would have beat them. We would have beat them.
What's your score?
Oh, mate, what's my score? We would have beaten the Chickens, the London KFC, by about 2-1, I think. Yeah. We would have beaten 2-1, I think. But you see, this is it, because the way Arsenal have changed since the last transfer window, we press so much better, we defend so much better. Okay, we are scoring goals with Emil Smith Rowe from the midfield. Do you know what I mean? We just need that striker. No disrespect to Martinelli, because he's a talented kid. We haven't got a striker who will head the ball. Yeah, we need someone who gets on the end of them crosses, and if he can't get his foot to it, get your head to it, and away you go, old school. And that's why I was shouting for Calvert-Lewin, but he's injured, so not going to happen. No,
he's back playing, eh?
Is he? Is he actually back playing? But
he's back playing.
Everton, the thing is, Everton won't let him go anyway, even though it seems that what's his face, the manager they've got there now is absolutely destroying Everton somehow. I don't know how he's doing it, but he seemes to be. And he seems to be rated as a good manager. But there we go. But Tottenham, personal opinion, I know Conte has said on YouTube, "Oh, I'm happy with my contract. I'm happy here." I genuinely think that if Tottenham do not get top 4 this year, which I'm hoping they don't, because I'm hoping we get it, I think he'll walk. And I think he'll fall out with Levy, and something will happen with him and Levy, and he'll walk. So, and we need, whenever we play them, we need to do what we usually do at Tottenham, is put the pressure on them. But the question I've got to ask is, if all these games are getting postponed, right, is there not a chance that the league could be scrapped this year because of time restraints? Could that not happen?
Altal, are you answering?
Well, an interesting one on that is, in the earlier rounds of the Carabao Cup, if you couldn't get a team out there, you had to forfeit the game 3-0.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I mean, I think we're playing too many games in the season. If you include the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the number of teams we play in the league, and then if teams are playing in Europe, and then basically what I think we should do is what Europe does, which is close down for the Christmas period. All right, all this baloney about the English people like going to watch matches on Boxing Day in the depths of winter. I don't know who thought that, because
No.
even when I was young, if you gave me an option, I'd go down and watch Arsenal quite happily in the middle of summer. But the last thing I wanted to do, and I did it. I remember going to Crystal Palace once to watch Arsenal in a Carabao Cup League Cup match with my dad, and it was absolutely bitterly cold and freezing, and I was about 17, and there were so many people packed in the stadium that only the top of your head felt cold, because all the rest of your body, it was like these penguins in Antarctica. Have you seen that? They sort of rotate the people, the penguins on the outside, you know. So unless they pack us in like penguins or sardines again, I think it's absolute madness. You know, Christmas is a big event. Even if you're not a Christian, it's still a big event in the calendar. Just close down for 2 or 3 weeks. Wait till the worst of the weather is more than likely to be gone. And if you wanted, then you could actually have the African Cup of Nations sometime around like where we have it now, and it wouldn't interfere with it.
Exactly.
So why?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that would be the way to do it.
Jonathan, your take on what Altal is just saying, it makes sense to a certain extent, but for the fact of all the games that needs to be crammed in after Christmas, especially like we're feeling it now. I mean, Christmas we had games every second day. Will that make any difference to the games that need to be played?
I have to say it from abroad, from Colombia. I have been in London watching matches in Boxing Day in, I don't remember, Bournemouth 2015. I think it was like 29, and in 2nd of January against Newcastle on 2016, I remember. For us, for me personally, as a passionate about football, that is very interesting. That is very interesting because here in Colombia, once the vacations and the holidays arrive, all the players take their bags and go to home, and that's it. And me, that I like to watch football, I cannot do anything. So I'm in my vacation on holidays doing nothing. And it's the perfect moment to watch Premier League. So sorry for you, but for me it's very, very interesting to watch a match on January 1st, on January 2nd, on December 29th, on December 26th.
But
of the Premier League.
Jonathan, the only company, right, that benefits for us doing all, like Toa said, all the Christmas period is Amazon Prime. Oh. Because they seem to buy that block of games. They buy that block of games and they're making money off of that. You know what I mean? But I agree with Tal. Honestly, guys, if you haven't stood or sat on a terrace with 15 layers on, where you can't even lift your arms up the chair anyway, right? Because you've got 15 layers on, 3 hats, 4 pairs of socks. Do you know what I mean? And it's all because you want to stand there stamping your feet, praising your team.
Yeah,
you know?
I did it in the past, like 3 or 4 times in the past. I visited the Emirates. I take picture with Ospina. I took picture with Ospina. I did it, and I know what is that. It's freezing. I understand you. But for me, from Colombia, it's the best thing that we can have. It's like a gift. I have to tell you. That's the reason why they do it, because it's a business for them. You know, for us, it's happiness. I know. I'm sorry. It's
no problem.
No, it's fine. I understand why you want to watch it when you're having time off. That's understandable. That's totally understandable.
Yeah,
all right, we've come to that point where it's almost, in fact, it's time to land the plane. Just for the last part of your comments, we obviously might not play on Saturday or on Sunday at least, but what do you think next Thursday will happen? Let's start with you, Jonathan. Next Thursday, the second leg that will happen against
Liverpool.
Arsenal and Liverpool. Obviously, we're going to be fired up. We're going to obviously know that we have a chance to go to the final.
The truth is that I think we will do an Arsenaleada. We say Arsenaleada here in Colombia, an Arsenal thing. Arsenal will do what Arsenal do, and is give us hope, make us go up, and then So I don't think. I think club will win, and I hate that. I hate to say that, but it's part of the mystical of the football. Arsenal will do an Arsenal, and that is what happened when I have hope. So I think we will go. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
And what is your
I hope.
score line that I? What is your score for next week Thursday then?
I think penalties.
Penalties.
Yeah, at the last time in the Carabao Cup, you remember that
Yes.
4-4, 4-3? I don't remember
Yeah.
the. I was in the doctor. I remember that I was in the doctor waiting for attention and goal, and I say,
Ellie.
oh, Arsenal, you can do it, and bye. I think penalties. We will lose in penalties.
Altal, what will your score be for next week and your take on that game?
Well, I think it's going to be a tricky match, and it will be just like Arsenal to go and do all the hard work up at Anfield and then blow it at home, as we have done in one of those matches against Panathinaikos. Was it there in just as the pandemic was starting? We thought we'd got a draw away from home, and we thought we'd finish them off at home, and it all blew apart in our face. So I think Arsenal got to be very, very careful, because Liverpool like you to attack them so they can get you on the counter attack, which is how Jota was ended up being brought down. So I think Arsenal got to play it very canny, very defensive, and I think the scoreline that came to my mind was 2-0, but I can't remember which team scored the two. But hopefully it's Arsenal.
I want to say something very important, and it's a congratulations to Arsenal fans, because we went to Anfield, and I didn't listen Liverpool fans chanting. I didn't listen Liverpool fans. All the transmission I listen Arsenal are. It's crazy because it's Anfield. Arsenal, it's by far greatest thing the world has ever seen on the entire match. And the players feel that. The players say that. Hey, in Instagram, they feel the entire energy all the time. And as I tell you, football is about mystic and energy and passion. And Arsenal fans were the players of the match yesterday. For me,
both of you obviously saying that Arsenal is going to surprise us with a defeat. Having said that, Jonathan, what is your take on that? Because if the fans come up and perform the way they do,
Are you on about? Sorry, you're on about the Liverpool game still.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Couple of things. Number one, Arsenal fans don't need vuvuzelas. We make enough noise wherever we go. Yeah. Okay. And number two, next week's going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit wait and see, because it'll depend whether we can put a team out or not.
Surely the COVID guys will be back.
Yeah, but something happens every week, Glenwyn. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to touch wood. I'm not trying to jinx it. But if we get a team out, okay, this is how I see the Liverpool game going. I know Tell said be defensive. That's fair enough. But if we press Liverpool like we press Man City, and they did say, I've heard Man City fans say that's the most they've been pressed this season. Okay, if we can press Liverpool like we press Man City, I think it's going to be a 2-0 win. And I hope that Odegaard will be there to lead the press, because when he leads the press, we're better. Yeah. Yeah. And I know I'm very biased, the Viking, I know, but what I mean is, he's kind of the guy. He's kind of the guy that gets things going. Okay, and to me, if we've got the players back that we love, and the Hall of Fame wall that Jonathan's got there and a couple of others, I think Liverpool are going to find it really, really tough, because the back four are so solid. You've got Martinelli, who's a striker, but like Odegaard, he'll come back. I mean, look at him last night coming back at Liverpool. He was at one end of the field, and then the next thing you see him defending. And we've got kids now that will put in a work. They'll put in a shift, you know. And I think if we get them guys on the pitch, and maybe the new acquisitions, if we get any, yeah, I think Arsenal 2-0 all night long, and I'll sit here watching it, singing my lungs out if I have to. Do you know what I mean? But 1989. That's all I'm going to say. 1989 at Anfield. Yeah, you remember that game, but it's going to happen at Arsenal this time. All right, we are going to stuff the funny birds, you know, because they're not really, they're more like flamingos, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They're emblem.
All right,
and
guys.
we're going to stuff the We're going to stuff the chickens on. So if we do play on Sunday, we're going to stuff the chickens proper.
The KFC from London and the KFC.
From London. On Sunday, the KFC from London. They're getting stuffed, mate.
The KFC from Liverpool too.
Yeah, but their bird is more like a flamingo, isn't it? So they stand on one leg.
KFC for me.
Guys, it was nice. It was nice having you guys. Just another member of the show is Lenny. He said, "Good evening, mighty men," and he says that Arsenal will win Liverpool 2-0 next week, and if we play on Sunday again, the same score will be the chickens. Bring on those chickens Sunday, 2-0 to Arsenal. All right, guys, we came to that point where we have to say goodbye. I mean, they say all good things comes to those who wait, but also all good things comes to an end as well. Altal, Des, and Jonathan, it was great to have you guys on the show. And for those who are going to watch after the fact, these are the international crew that will always have something good to talk about. And I thank you guys, and it is always nice to have you on my show.
Always good to be here, mate. It's always good to be on with Jonathan and Neltel as well. The culture. We bring so much culture.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, same to you guys. Enjoy, man.